just my take on the matter. LeBron James is the greatest stat stuffer in the history of the NBA. Lonzo Ball got the gift. He doesn't have the glow. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Bill Belichick sabotaged the Super Bowl. Michael Jordan is the standard by which basketball excellence is measured. Period. It's just my take. What's yours?
Okay, here's a play that I want to highlight real quick. At the 54.9 second mark of the fourth quarter, the score is Golden State 102 and Cleveland 101. I want you to know the setup of this play. Once again, you have there was a switch that was caused, which landed Steph Curry on LeBron James. And LeBron James is at the middle of the floor, top of the key, at the middle of the floor. If you look at the almost the same exact setup, and the reason I'm highlighting this is because you're going to see this almost exact setup about 40 seconds from now. In the next, in one of the crucial, probably the crucial player of the game, as far as the regulation is concerned. Anyway, if you look, you have Klay Thompson and down on the baseline guarding George Hill. Looney is guarding. I believe that's Jeff Green. And Jeff Green goes through, because that opens up more of a driving lane for LeBron James, so he goes through. You have Kevin Durant guarding J.R. Smith, and then down at the bottom you have Draymond Green guarding Nance. So Jeff Green goes through, he sees him cut through, and LeBron James does what he should do in this moment. And I want you to pay close attention to LeBron James' body language as this play develops. I want you to pay close attention to his intentions as this play develops. All right?
Switch. Picks up James, 8 to shoot. James drives, shot blocked,
goes right at Steph Curry, gets the foul. Look at it. Gets the foul, gets the and one. That's what he should have done. You have a guy in Steph Curry who absolutely, positively cannot guard you on any day, on your worst day. Steph Curry won't be able to guard you when you're 90. He won't be able to guard you. Okay? You're the best player in the world. As we hear often, not only by yourself, but also by many pundits in the NBA. So there's no way in the world Steph Curry can guard you anytime at any time. You can get to the basket at will on Steph Curry. So he does what he needed to do. But let's take a look at another play. Okay? We're going to take a look at another play to see what LeBron James does on the next play. All right. So here is the crucial play. If you notice, 9.1 seconds left on the clock. That's plenty of time to make a decision. Now, I want to set this up because the last play we looked at, LeBron James was in almost the same exact position with 54.9 seconds left to go in the game. You have him at the top of the key You have the switch, and you got Steph Curry, probably the worst on-ball defender in basketball today. Probably. And that's not overstating or understating. Steph Curry, he competes, but he has no weight. He's not very, he doesn't have great lateral movement, and he doesn't have great lateral quickness. I.e., he's not a great on-ball defender. And in this instance, he's giving up 5 inches in height and probably more than 65 pounds in weight difference. This is a mismatch. As it was in the very last play, it was a mismatch. But I want you to pay close attention to the fact that Cleveland is down 1. It's 107 Golden State, 106 Cleveland, 9.1 seconds left to go in the game. There's every opportunity right now to go ahead and win this game. Now, look at the position of the court. You have Kevin Love, shooter, closely guarded by Looney, as he should be, because Kevin Love is a shooter. You got Kyle Korver, closely guarded by Thompson, as he should be. Look at everyone's position. George Hill, somewhat of a shooter, but he's going to cut through the lane. You got J.R. Smith at this stage right now, to be quite honest with you, he is wide open. He's wide open. And J.R. Smith is a guy who can take and make big shots. He's also a guy who has taken and made big shots, last second shots in his career. He is a shooter, and he will shoot, and he will shoot it with much confidence. But LeBron James totally misses him. No problem. You still have the most favorable matchup you can possibly have in this situation. You have their worst defender on you. Their worst defender and the worst on-ball defender in basketball. On you. Okay? Now, if you look at where Kevin Durant is, the switch was made, but he's way back. He's more than 15 feet off of J.R. Smith. Look. So there is also a driving lane left for LeBron James. And if you look at Steph Curry, look at his feet. He is totally out of position. This is a hard drive left, finish at the rim just as he did getting the foul and the and one, as he did just a few moments ago at the 54.9 seconds left to go. And I also want you to pay attention to LeBron James' body language. In the last play, he was totally intended in driving the ball. This play, now is 9 seconds left to go in the game. He is now overthinking the play. He has no intentions on driving this ball. Look at the decision that he chooses to make.
8 seconds remaining.
Look at him leaning up. Look at him. He is not in attack position. He is not in attack position. Okay? Kevin Durant steps up. Now, he has every intentions of passing the ball. This is the problem with him. Now, also, I'm going to highlight something later on with Michael Jordan that's going to show you the difference between the apex understanding of angles of the game, especially in moments like these. Because if you look at LeBron James' position here, he has plenty of time to reset and step back and just come right at Steph Curry. But he has no intentions of passing the ball. He's leaning all into Steph Curry's chest. He has the ball up in one hand away. He has all intentions of passing this ball. George Hill cuts through. George Hill was not cutting through to get the ball. He was not cutting through to get the ball. Okay? He was cutting through as Jeff Green was cutting through to give LeBron James the driving space. Okay? But LeBron James does not have any intentions of passing this ball, taking this game, and you being the GOAT or the hero in this moment. Has all intentions of passing the ball. Watch the play.
They pass inside on a foul call on Tristan Thompson. He held George Hill. Big free throws.
He didn't even let George Hill actually clear. Okay? He didn't let George Hill clear. Well, we know the rest of the story that went on with this game. Of course, George Hill makes one of 2 free throws. The J.R. Smith thing takes place. And then the next thing we see is LeBron James on the sideline soaking and quitting. Comes out the next in the overtime, doesn't take a shot for the first 2-3 minutes, and the game is lost. And most likely the series at that moment right there. All right, so let's move on to something else. Well, really quick, I just want to cover something really quick. Because Michael Jordan right now in this game is 35 years old in this game. All right? And everybody made a big old stink about, and rightfully so, because there was a phenomenal block shot. It was a phenomenal block shot that LeBron James got on Iguodala in that game. So it was a critical shot block, a game-saving shot block, most likely. But my issue is they act like he's the only one that have made critical defensive plays in big games, right? Like Russell, Bill Russell wasn't making critical big blocks in games. Here's the play where Michael Jordan is laying it all on the line. He's 35 years old, laying it all on the line. Watch this here. Look at the pass. Michael's getting back, hustling back. Big time.
He misses the shot, the 3 that would have put him up.
He misses the shot, gets back, stays in the game, hustles back, get the big steal. Okay? All right. Real quick, I want to show you something regarding Michael Jordan and his understanding of the game. And also understanding, earlier I said, angles, spacing, right? Now, in the LeBron James videos, highlights, he was catching the ball, the primary scorer on the team, the primary playmaker on the team. He was catching and operating from top of the key. Now, the reason that is not as effective, or the reason that limits you when you catch the ball there, is because the defense can pretty much sag on you, right? And if you notice, when we was looking at the LeBron James clips, everybody was pretty much sagging back into the lane, right? So you're easier to double team when you catch the ball on certain spots. So if you look at right now the position of Michael Jordan, and if you look at the position of everyone else on the floor, look at all this space that Michael Jordan has to operate one-on-one. Okay? Scotty is at the top being guarded by, I believe that's Hornacek. And Jordan is being guarded by Byron Russell. But if you look at Jordan's angle where he's catching, that's not by mistake. Michael Jordan didn't just so happen to catch the ball there. He understands spacing of the game. He understands where to catch the ball that will make him the biggest threat. Because when you catch the ball there, when you are an elite offensive player, as LeBron James is, all right, the 30,000 plus points lets you know that he is an elite offensive player. But the difference is there is certain understandings of the game that LeBron James does not have. All right, so here Michael Jordan, understanding angles, And look at the difference between the position of where Michael Jordan is choosing to catch the ball versus where LeBron chooses to operate. Now, that's important because when you are the primary scorer of the basketball on your team, your angles and positioning where your starting points will make you more of a threat versus if you catch the ball in another area, make you less of a threat. Looking at where LeBron James was operating from the top of the key, he was less of a threat because of his positioning. If you notice when you was looking at LeBron James being at the top of the key, you had the rest of the defense was just simply sagging. Now, look at where Michael Jordan is catching the ball. And look at the spacing to the left of Michael. He can go right, pull up. He can go left, go all the way to the basket. He can simply back Russell down and operate right there in the post position. So his positioning is totally different. Also, notice in this particular play that Michael Jordan is not settling really on passing to anyone else unless he absolutely has to. But that's also the reason why he's in the scoring position that he is. Let's check it out. Look.
Jordan spinning. Double team.
He gets it back.
Gets it right back.
Now, he's still in the same position. Now if you notice, Michael can survey the floor. There's no one on the right side of Byron Russell. So Jordan can drive left. He can hard drive right. He can swing it over to Kukoc, who's a shooter. He can swing it. Dennis Rodman is setting the back pick on Karl Malone. He can swing it over to Ron Harper, who can knock down a 17, 18-foot shot if he need be. And then you got Scottie Pippen at the top, who can knock down a shot. Ain't the best shooter on the floor, but Scottie can knock down a shot if he swung it back to Scottie. But Jeff Hornacek will be out of position if Michael Jordan decided to pass it back to Scottie. But let's see what the play goes.
Double pump knocked away by Carr.
Jordan is fouled. Now, I also want you to take notice of another difference between LeBron and Jordan. Michael Jordan elected to drive the ball to the basket, knowing he would most likely get fouled because he's the best offensive weapon, and he also is very confident. And if I get fouled, I know I'm going to go to the free throw line and make the 2 free throws. I'm an 85% free throw shooter. I'm even better in the clutch. And shooting clutch. Every play at this stage of the game, with 3 minutes left to go in the game, every play is a critical play. Every shot, every basket, every free throw made is a critical play. Michael elects to go to the basket, get fouled, and then make the free throws. Now, if you look at here, Byron Russell is the primary defender on Michael Jordan. And he's a very good defender. Okay? But Michael's almost shooting 50% against him. Okay? And he got 26 points directly going up against his matchup. So there's no need for Michael Jordan to switch onto a lesser player. Michael Jordan goes against his matchup and beats him. 26 points on Byron Russell at this point in the game. Once again, I want you to notice the position that Michael Jordan elects to take on the court. Right? Watch where he comes up the court and watch what side he goes to. All right? This is important. As I pointed before, he does this consistently. Now watch where he's back. Watch where he's at again. He's back to the very same spot he was attacking Byron Russell from before. When we was looking at LeBron James plays, he was always at the top of the key. that makes you more easier to be defended at the rim. Okay? When you play the ball, that makes you that cuts down your driving lanes. If you notice, if you look here, he has the whole left side. The Jordan could go all left, all that space open to operate. When you have that much, when you're that good of a scorer, and you have that much space open to operate, somebody's gonna have to come double team you.
They take the lead with a 3 of their own. Jordan.
He gets fouled. Now, another clutch factor that made Michael Jordan so great is that he understood time, possession, all of that stuff at a very high level. It's 41.9 seconds left to go, and just a moment ago, Stockton makes a huge three that puts up Utah up by 3, 86-83. And so it's only 41.9 seconds left, which means there's less than 2 possessions left. Michael understands that. But we're down by 3, so we have to get a quick basket so that we can get the ball back with an opportunity to win. So Michael catches the ball, scores very quickly, almost effortlessly. Watch.
Give them 2 opportunities to 1. Pippen into Jordan.
Notice where he went. He didn't stay in the middle of the floor. He came down this side on the right side. Angles. Important.
Michael working on Russell. Brings them to within 1.
He scores. Now, once again, everybody made this huge deal of the defensive play that LeBron James made, and it was a big play. But my issue is, why does everybody act like he's the only person in the history of basketball that made a huge defensive play in order to help win a game? Well, I mean, why do we act like, and when they're comparing Michael and LeBron, that LeBron is the only one who made huge defensive play? I just showed you a play earlier. Michael hustling back after a missed shot and getting a big steal. Well, here's the biggest steal of the game, the biggest defensive possession of the game. They are down 1 and they need a stop. You have to have a stop at this point in the game. Michael Jordan's understanding of the game of basketball is so high that it goes by most people's heads. Okay? Now I want you to pay close attention. This is a play that they just ran with Hornacek with the ball, throwing the ball into Karl Malone, and Stockton cutting through to the other side, and he received the pass from Malone, and he made the 3-point. This time Stockton has the ball, and he's making the entry pass into Karl Malone. Jordan is guarding Hornacek. Jordan has seen this play from Utah over and over and over again. But at any point in time, Jordan could have did what he's getting ready to do right now, but he saved it, because when you're playing chess, you don't always let the person know that you know what they're doing. Okay? That's the difference between checker players and chess players. You don't always let the other guy know that you know what they're doing. Sometimes you let the other person think that you don't know. It's called the element of surprise. Right? So watch what Jordan does as Hornacek goes through. Jordan just hangs back behind Malone so Stockton can't see him. Malone doesn't see him. And he waits for Malone to get the ball. Watch. You see Jordan he totally let Hornacek go. Whatever, I don't care about Hornacek right now. Stockton can't see him. Malone doesn't see him. This is basketball at the highest level. When we talk, when guys who know basketball, who actually saw Michael Jordan play, we know what we're talking about when we say, yo, LeBron is great, but he's not on Michael's level. These are the levels that we're talking about. Who would have thought to do what he just did? Watch what happens. Still. That's the biggest defensive player of the game. They had to have that play. Now here again is the difference between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. LeBron in 16 got the big block. But LeBron said, give it to Kyrie for the last second shot. Jordan gets the big steal. But Jordan says, no thank you, I'll keep. I will win this game. Now, it's 18.8 seconds left to go. And LeBron James, last 23 seconds to go, he got the ball with 9.1 seconds left to go on the clock, with the worst defender on him being Steph Curry. And once again, angles. LeBron was at the top of the key, in the middle of the floor. Watch what Jordan deliberately does. Watch him. Look at him go right down to the left elbow. Look where he's at. Look at the angle that he has. Okay? Look like Pippen looking back thinking, should I call a timeout? I didn't even pay attention to this. Let's watch this real quick. Oh, he pointed out something. Oh. Pippen tells the referee, look how smart Scottie Pippen is. Pippen stops back and tells the referee, look at Karl Malone. He's in illegal defensive position. Because in basketball, when you're playing defense off the ball, you cannot guard a guy. You have to be in certain positions. So Karl Malone's player he's guarding Scottie Pippen. Scottie being above the 3-point line, that prevents Karl Malone from dropping inside of the foul line. So that's why Karl Malone says, okay, Scottie points it out. Karl Malone sees Scottie points it out and steps back on the outside of that painted area. Okay? Rodman goes through. He's irrelevant in this play. But he's going to go down to the baseline, because if Antoine Carr comes off Michael Jordan, it comes off Pippen to Rodman too early, it's just going to be a dump off, the way Michael Jordan dumped off to Bill Whittington when he came back to the Garden 3 years earlier at the retirement and dropped 55 points. But on the last play, I think Patrick Ewing came off of Bill Whittington, leaving him right under the basket. Jordan saw him, hit him for the game-winning dunk at the end of the game. So Antoine Carr, because the Chicago Bulls are down 1 point, Antoine Carr cannot come off of Dennis Rodman, even though Dennis Rodman is the worst offensive player on the floor. But he's an NBA player, so he can make a dunk. So be it. Kukos fans out to the corner. He's a shooter. Hornacek can't leave him. Okay? I believe I think that's Steve Kerr over there in the far corner. Stockton can't leave him. The only other player you can conceivably leave is Scottie Pippen, because Scottie is not necessarily a great three-point shooter or necessarily a great cut shooter. Michael Jordan understands all of this. If you look at the Utah fans, you look at the Utah fans, some of them got their hands on their head. Some of them got their hands on their mouth, like they know this game is over. They know that Michael Jordan is going to make this shot. They know it's over. But once again, Michael goes to the left side of the floor, which puts him at angles where he can attack more effectively. and also prevent certain double teams from sagging. The floor is so spread right now that they can't just sag. And of course, we know the rest of the story. Did you see the move on it? Okay, look where Rodman is at. Right? Look where Rodman's at. They can Antoine Carr cannot come off of Rodman. Because if he comes off of Rodman, it's a dunk. If he comes off of Rodman to go get the ball out of Jordan's hand, it's a dunk. Karl Malone, let's go back real quick.
17 seconds.
Jordan brings it to the left side. Again, he didn't stand in the middle of the floor. All right? He did not stand in the middle of the floor. Okay? Once again, look where Karl Malone is at, and look where Scottie Pippen is pointing to, telling the ref, Karl Malone is in illegal defensive position. Jordan's patient. Kukoc is going to fan back to the three-point line, corner shot. That's easy money for him. All right? Unfortunately for Stockton, he already got burned a year earlier. In 1997, Stockton got burned coming off of Steve Kerr. And now Steve Kerr is on the baseline. That's a very easy baseline shot for him. He's not even in position. Stockton absolutely positively cannot come off of Steve Kerr to come get the ball out of Michael Jordan's hands because he's too far away. Jordan will easily see that, throw that over to Kerr, and you know what that's going to be. You see the difference? Now, if Michael Jordan was in the middle of the floor, everybody could just sag. But because he at this angle, he is so far away from Stockton that Stockton cannot come off him. All right? Now, once again, you're going to see Rodman come through and cut down, go right down to the baseline underneath the rim. That prevents Antoine Carr from coming off of him. This is all due to the position that Jordan takes to initiate the offense. When you're in the middle of the floor, no one has to move. Everybody can just sort of play center field. That is what Klay Thompson did because he can read everything that LeBron James was doing. Because LeBron was in the middle of the floor. He could easily see George Hill cutting through the lane. He could easily stand there because the distance between where LeBron was and where Kyle Korver was shorter than the distance between where Stockton is and Steve Kerr is. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell y'all? About angles. Jordan understands that. When you are up here at the top of the key, you're closer. That's why spacing is so important, because if you don't have the proper spacing, one guy can guard two players. I'm talking stuff that only basketball players understand. When you don't have the proper position, the proper spacing, one defensive player can guard two people. And because LeBron James was at the top of the key with no intentions of driving that ball or shooting that ball, Klay Thompson was able to guard their best shooter in Kyle Korver and lag and defend George Hill, who was cutting through. But George Hill wasn't cutting through to get the ball. He was cutting through to give space to LeBron James to operate one-on-one with Steph Curry. LeBron James did not let him fully clear through before he passed that ball. So Klay Thompson was able to guard both George Hill and Korver and preventing the play from him getting the easy layup. Forced George Hill to go on the free throw line and make 2 free throws to beat him. Jordan has no intentions, really, on passing this ball unless someone comes with a hard double team. Not no half-ass passive double team. If you're not coming with a hard double team, I'm shooting the ball, I'm scoring, I'm winning the game, let's go home. 6. Watch the play.
From game 7 or from championship number
Robin cuts through, goes down to the baseline. Jordan, pull up. Just totally kills this guy.
17.
All right. Once again, notice the angle that Michael Jordan elects to take. Okay? Now watch this. Let's set it up. Pippen's pointing. Look, Pippen pointing to the referee. Malone sees it. He gets back into proper defensive position, which creates the space for Michael Jordan to operate. Okay? Now, again, as I keep harping on this, the difference in position of LeBron James and Michael Jordan, where they elect to operate from. Okay? When LeBron James is at the top of the key, Draymond Green just sagged right back. He just sagged back. Okay? And look how close, if you remember how close Draymond Green was to LeBron James, both LeBron James, his defensive player, and Steph Curry. Spacing. That is why Jordan is going to the left side. He understands spacing. Let it roll. Robin is cutting through. Everybody in position. Watch Mike. Look at this. Look at this, man. Listen. Look at the attention of all the Utah Jazz players. They are totally defenseless against this man. Everybody is practically wide open, including Michael Jordan. Including Michael Jordan. Everyone done sat down into the middle of the lane. No one is in position to actually come double team this man. Game time. Look, gooseneck. Game time. Look at this. Look. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Michael Jordan, I want to point out to something real quick. If you notice, there's 5.2 seconds left on the clock. Because they're down by 1, listen to me, I'm not singing this man's praises for no reason. I'm singing this man's praises for a reason. I'm telling you something that this man understood. Because I've heard him say it. Michael Jordan, when they were down in the game, all right? If he was taking the last second shot and they were down, he would always take the last second shot, leaving some time left on the clock. Why? In case there is a rebound put back. We're down 1. We have to, if I miss the shot, we could possibly get a rebound and get the putback. He always left some time on the clock when they were down. When they were tied. And he had to take a last second shot. Game 1 of 1997 finals. When he went left against Russell. He ended the game with no time left on the clock. Why? Because the game was tied. So my shot's going to win the game, or we're going into overtime. That's the levels at which this man understands the game. Now, I want to go back to LeBron James to show you the difference in spacing so you can see what I'm saying, because I'm trying to show you the difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James and understanding the levels at which Michael Jordan understood and played the game. So let's go back real quick. All right. So we're back in game 1 of the finals. LeBron, look again. Look where he's at. He's at the top of the key. All right. Now, George Hill is in a bad spot. Why? Remember I talked to you about spacing. I mentioned to you about spacing. When you don't have the proper spacing, one player can guard two players. All right? So Draymond Green could sag, and if you look where Scottie Pippen floated back to, right? Scottie Pippen faded way out to the elbow, forcing Karl Malone to step back outside of that painted area. But look where George Hill is standing. And he's almost in the same position that Scottie was, except the difference is, where is LeBron James? LeBron James is much closer to his own player, which allows Draymond Green to guard two players. Also, sorry to be yelling, but good Lord, because of LeBron James' position on the floor and being at the top of the key, notice his position. He does not see that J.R. Smith is wide open. Now remember I told you, Michael Jordan would always, when they were down, as is the Cleveland Cavaliers, down by one, when they were down, he would always take the shot a little earlier in case they would miss. It's a chance to get an offensive rebound and put the ball back. So if you are the apex player that everyone says that you are, I would think that you would understand that J.R. Smith right now is the best player to pass the ball to. He's wide open. Look where he's at, and look where Kevin Durant is at. Kevin Durant is totally out of position, but LeBron James can't see him because he's not in the most optimal spot to operate. You see the difference in the angles and the spacing. Now, Kyle Korver is Steve Kerr in the corner. Kevin Love is Tony Kukoc in the corner. But because LeBron James is not in the spot that Michael Jordan is, he can't see all of that. So he doesn't even see Smith wide open. Let's let the play. Let's run the play. All right, now. George Hill faded out further to the elbow. Right? Now, perhaps George Hill is realizing that Draymond Green does not see him creeping in through the back door, as Jay-Z would say. But, remember I mentioned to you before about the angle that Michael Jordan was on versus the angle that LeBron James is on. Because when Michael Jordan was in the spot that Smith is at right now, J.R. Smith is at, that the distance between Klay Thompson guarding Kyle Korver and where LeBron James is at right now, it's shorter. You see? So he's closer to both of them. That little bit of spacing difference makes all the difference. As we'll see, that because of that distance, shorter distance between Klay Thompson and LeBron James, and Klay Thompson and Kyle Korver, and Klay Thompson and George Hill, Klay Thompson is able to guard two players at one time. Watch. See that? Even though he fouled him, he was close enough that he was able to foul him. And if LeBron James had not passed the ball to George Hill and elected to throw the ball out to Kyle Korver, Klay Thompson would have easily been able to recover back to Kyle Korver because of the spacing. You see the difference? I'm trying to show you something, the difference of understanding the difference between stats and understanding the moments, angles, and all of those things that matter to winning and losing ball games. And also remember, I'm highlighting this for a reason. LeBron James, look at his position. He has no intentions on driving the ball. Watch him the whole entire time. Watch him. He's lean. When you're leaning like this, you can't go. You can't go. Because he has no intentions of driving the ball. Even though, look what, oh, Jesus Christ. Look at Durant recovers. LeBron James is essentially right now being guarded by 3 people. Because of his position where he elects to catch the ball. Now, the reason I'm pointing that out to you is because LeBron James did the same thing earlier at the 54.1 minute mark in the game. He elected to catch the ball at the top of the key. Michael Jordan consistently will go down to different angles on the floor. I'm trying to show you something. And we know what happens in this point. He passes it, he gets fouled, the guy don't make the shot. LeBron James could have ended this. Steph Curry's giving up 5 inches and 65 pounds easily. Probably 70 pounds because I don't believe Steph Curry's 200 pounds. And they got LeBron James listed at 265. And at this point in LeBron James' career, he's probably more like 270 easy. So he's giving up 75 pounds in weight, speed, power, height. But it's voided his weight, speed, height, and power because of his positioning. That's the difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Michael had ended up with 45 points in that game. LeBron James ended up with 51 points in the game and still lost. But the game was lost in this moment right here. That pass lost in the game. Period. That's my take. What's yours?